But today, let's get into it. We've got a lot to cover, and hopefully just 30 minutes. We're going to try to fill up this entire content calendar for 2024. And one of the things I wanted to start is the inspiration for this. So we've been doing these webinars, virtual events for 5 years now, since 2018, and we do get quite a bit of feedback from attendees like you saying what sort of topics we should be covering. We also look at industry trends, but this particular webinar topic was based on a stat that we found in a TMG social media survey that we conducted over 1,000 hoteliers and asked them, what is one of the biggest challenges for your social media strategy today? And 58% of those hoteliers said that they were unsure of what to post. So we've got tons of examples packed in here. I think I counted around 20 across multiple brands, all built and created, designed by Travel Media Group social media experts. But hopefully we'll give you some inspiration, because we've got, again, an entire year in 2024 to fill up. And looking at it this way, at this calendar, it can look a little daunting, but we also know that travelers on each one of these days are looking for inspiration, which which social media does for travelers. They're looking for events. They're looking for what your hotel experience is going to be like. So they are actually coming to your social media accounts on each one of these days, looking to make purchase decisions. And if you don't have content there, they're not going to find anything. So you're probably asking, Ryan, how are we going to fill out this entire calendar? How are we going to go 12 months? Well, we're going to do it by kind of dissecting and hopefully splitting this calendar into 4 pieces. And hopefully this will really help us kind of efficiently plan our calendar for next year. So first, we're going to start with a holiday seasonal calendar, right? Simple enough. Events calendar. Content series calendar. If you've been on any of my webinars or have listened to my podcast, you know that I'm huge on this and what I mean by content series. I'll explain shortly. And then one of, if not the most important content calendar, is actually last year's calendar. So what we're doing today should set us up for success tomorrow. So let's get into it. Let's start with holidays, right? The easiest way to fill a calendar is major holidays. We just had Halloween pass. This is a fantastic post, lots of engagement. 4th of July, spring break, Thanksgiving, over the holiday. We've got the holidays coming up. We know this is a big travel time during these holidays, but very easy to get a lot of engagement on these types of posts. Now, if we want to take it up a notch, and each time you see these kind of little calendar notifications here, it's going to represent a way that we can kind of level up that social strategy. Tie in property features here. So just absolutely wonderful post designed by our social media team here at Travel Media Group. A great way to tie in property features is, we've got some scary low rates over the next couple weeks. Make sure you check us out here at this booking link to book direct. We've got our pumpkin spice latte at our local F&B outlet that we can tie into these. So see if you can find that correlation between a holiday and maybe the guest experience that they can have. And you're going to notice that trend a lot in these examples. But it's not just about major holidays, right? We all know about National Pancake Day, National Smile Day. It feels like every single day now is one of these minor holidays. These are important to highlight and a great way to fill your content calendar as well. This was Happy National Wine Day, and they did a fantastic job of actually using a local attraction to celebrate this, right? One way you can level up, and I've talked about this before, tagging those local businesses. They're going to be more inclined to engage with your post if you're tagging them, if they see that you're publicly supporting their business, whether it be an attraction, whether it be an event center, anything like that. And their engagement will hopefully carry over weight into their audience. So it's a win-win for each business, and hopefully we'll get you some followers and some more impressions on your social reach, which is obviously every social champion hotel's dream and our objective and goals, right? And then seasonal. So, winter, fall, summer, spring break. This is a fantastic post about a property in Florida, really leaning into the fact that we're going into fall, but hey, we're still in Florida. And the tip I would give you there is, in a sea of sameness, where everyone might be talking about a certain amenity in the summer, your pool, for example, one of the best ways and most engaged posts that we see in working with thousands of hotels with their social media is actually the opposite effect. So if you actually, in the dead of winter, put a nice, beautiful picture of your pool in the dead heat of summer, and say, wishing we were here, that could get you a lot more engagement, because it's something different that you're posting out there, maybe in comparison to those other hotels. So consider that when we're looking at seasonal, but this is a great way to also tie in those property features and amenities that you have. So as we look at the seasonal calendar, holiday calendar, right away, we start to uncover those major holidays. Appreciation months at the beginning of a month are huge. Almost every single month has one. But identifying those minor holidays as well, how can we tie them back to the guest experience and potentially have a guest, a competitive advantage there? So we've got our holiday season down. I said we're going to break this into 4 separate pieces. Events calendar, right? Social media champions at hotels love events. They are our occupancy drivers. So instead of talking about the different types of events, I'm going to talk about the different stages in events. And this is where a lot of hotels love to live, in the pre-event stage. We all like to kind of set up, hey, book with us now in a couple of months because we've got this big concert, we've got this big game, and we're really only covering a third of what we need to be doing. Now, I will say this: I'm not consulting you at all to say stop doing these pre-events. In fact, if you're giving accurate information and links within these posts, you actually could get a lot of followers, because people could see your account as a source of truth for things to do in major metropolitan areas for events and stuff like that. So continue to do this pre-event, but really what hoteliers need to lean into, and sometimes what we miss out on, is the during event and the post event, right? So this is a great example here. We've got the New York City Marathon coming up. We're encouraging our runners to stay with us during the event. This is a great time to ask for engagement, right? We've got the New York City Marathon coming this week, or going on right now. Let's see those medals. Let's see those times. Congratulations to everyone that finished. And then post-event, right? Last week, we hosted a number of New York City Marathon runners. Follow our account. We'll be giving updates throughout the year as we prepare for next year's City Marathon. And just that could capture maybe 5 to 7 travelers that said, you know what, I followed this account because I was waiting for this event, and could get you a direct booking or two as you continue to give updates there. And this is also a great time to encourage shares and tags. So when is the height of an experience at an event? The height of experience at a game, Taylor Swift concert, right? That is the thing that's really been that has really been kind of pushing the hotel industry as far as ADR goes. Those concert goers are posting their pictures immediately after the concert. They're looking at videos of the concert from different angles. They're seeing everything that they experience. This is the height of engagement. This is when you ask for shares tags that potentially, if you get permission, you could use later down the line and kind of use in a content library for you. By the way, we just did get a question. We are going to be getting a copy and sending out this presentation to everybody. Events calendar. So again, as we start to fill this out, remember, not just pre-events. Pre-events are fantastic. When the event is happening and post-events, can we get engagement? Can we get tags, likes, shares? Let's move forward to our content series calendar. So I mentioned this at the top of the presentation. This is, I think, the way that travelers, that consumers are just consuming content right now. You think about Netflix, you think about Hulu, Amazon Prime, all of these are in series, right? It's episodic. We want to wait until the next season. We want to wait until the next episode. This is a very easy way to fill your content calendar, as in having a plan here. Right? So if you're unsure, if you're in that 58% of unsure of what I post, if you have a bi-weekly or even a monthly employee spotlight, for example, right? That's 12 of your hotel members that you could spotlight over the course of a year. These typically have insane amount of engagement. And one of the things that we talk about is being able to highlight this in recruiting. Right, we are still having a very, very tough time as an industry in getting talent to hospitality and keeping talent. Gen Z, the younger generation, they're not just going on to Glassdoor or Indeed anymore. They are going to places like your review sites, and they're going to social media, and they're trying to figure out what is not just the guest experience, but what is the worker experience like here? What's the employee experience like here? So pointing to these types of series where you're spotlighting, recognizing, and awarding maybe some of your team members can really go a long way when creating and building a culture for your hotel or management company. We have a lot of management companies on this webinar as well. Guest reviews, right? This is constant user-generated feedback that we're getting in. I absolutely love this post. It was beautifully designed because more often than not, when you see a review on a social media post, it is just the words itself. And the fact that they not only put this as a source of truth with TripAdvisor and put that logo in there, but they've also included where that guest was talking about at their food and beverage outlet, gives them a sneak peek into what the guest experience is going to be like. And as you may or may not know, Travel Media Group, pair with a professional response. We are so committed and passionate about review response. We have review response for hotels. We've done over 1 million of them. This is a time to showcase how you can do a professional review response in conjunction with a style like this. So maybe every Friday, last Friday of the month, you're posting a 5-star review, a guest review, and sharing that with a hashtag. These, again, really, these content series can fill up a calendar very, very quickly for you. And hotel views, I'm also very passionate about this one. No matter what hotel you work at, you know that there is a beautiful sunset area on the rooftop or on a balcony of your hotel. You know those places. Maybe you have a really recently renovated lobby that just looks amazing with the lighting. I would say challenge your guest. If you're not looking, this post here was actually from a hotel guest. Promote a social competition. Try to get that user-generated content. Sunset Sundays or something like that, and have a picture from your property. These are the type of things that really give a sneak peek into the guest experience and can get a lot of traction with likes and engagement on social media. So as we fill in our content series, as I mentioned before, this calendar that you're seeing right here and the cadence of this is every first Tuesday, every last Wednesday of the month, and then every bi-weekly Saturday. That's 3 particular series. I just gave 3 examples there. There's tons more, especially if you have a food and beverage outlet, right? Maybe a dish every month that you're sharing. These are the types of things that can fill a calendar very, very quickly. But I mentioned before, one of the most important, last year's calendar. So any successful social strategy is going to answer the question, why is this successful? Why is this post? We are not just throwing things to the wall now and hoping it sticks. These social platforms have enough data to show you whether a post is working or not, right? So this was a piece of content shared on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Analytics, it reached over 1,000 travelers and had over 140 people engaging with it. This is fantastic analytics. This clearly worked. It has a strong, it obviously is tied to an event of a nearby attraction. It had a strong call to action. The next thing that we can do is boost and use social ad spend when you see a post like this performing. In fact, every single social partner that we have or client that we bring on has ad spend included to help boost, especially those posts that are making a ripple effect, that are resonating with your audience. So tweak your messaging. If you're not seeing something work for you, if you're, or opposite, if you're seeing something that really works, tweak your messaging on the next one to match that and to mirror that, so you can continue to capitalize on those social media gains. So this was that image that we saw at the very beginning of the webinar again, right? And well, actually this is here. So as we start to add these 4 types of calendars, you know, our winter, or I'm sorry, our holiday and seasonal calendar, our event calendar, our content series, and finally last year's content calendar, we now have a really nice blueprint for what our year looks like in 2024. But I will say some of these weeks only have 3 posts. I know this seems like we're full here, but our sweet spot for Travel Media Group, for our social partners, is 4 to 5 posts. I mentioned it before. Your guests and travelers are on these pages every single day. They are looking to book every single day. So 4 to 5 posts is really the minimum that you should be doing when it comes to social media. So I wanted to include some extra kind of ideas to fill in those gaps whenever you might need, you know, that other piece of content. Travel tips, very, very great. Brings a lot of value to your following. I love this one because it's talking, you know, they've done a great job of taking that seasonal calendar, right? Talking about hiking in the fall, giving some hiking shoe recommendations. Travel list. This is always also great. Quizzes, trivia, any of that stuff that really gets your audience engaged. You learn a little bit more about them, and hopefully you're looking at those analytics that we talked about to see what they're responding to as well. And then the one thing that I just can't stress enough, if I could make every single one of these posts better, the way I would do it is with video. This is so big. TikTok, Instagram Reels, the best way that you can engage on social media is by social video. We just recently launched social video for hotels. You can pack events inside, multiple events inside a single social video, all of your amenities, room types, all of that stuff. It's much more engaging, adding music. Videos is the way. This is the future of social media. If you're not implementing it already, certainly should for 2024 because it's very, very compelling. You know, the other stat that came up to us that really came out during the social media survey, and this was hand in hand with not unsure of what to post, was just not having enough time. And we've seen that on our end, being a social media provider exclusively for hotels, because we've seen a record number of people reaching out to us to help manage their social media. So any chance I get to really showcase and highlight our amazing social team and the work that they're doing, I just want to give you a quick example, you know, and this is talking about not having so much time. So these are just the little notes that our social customers have given us, and what our social team has been able to do with this little information and the type of content that we create. And as you can see, this one was designed by Sarah. Fantastic image. She was making sure not to use any trademark image, which as social media champions, we need to be careful of. Because that could get our account flagged and blacklisted. So fantastic work there, Sarah. Pet-friendly post, right? So this was the customer notes. They provided an image of one of the pets on property. Excellent idea. Maybe didn't have the time to sit down and craft that social copy. Nicole did a fantastic job of sharing some of the pet policies at this property, and certainly got a great response from the audience and following of this hotel. And then lastly, talking about a blog of something to do in the local area. Again, fantastic job by Kim here, pushing this to the audience, talking about a local story. So, you know, if you're a social partner already with us, and I know we have a lot of them on this webinar right now, just those little pieces of information, those little notes, really go a long way in helping us take your social media initiatives to the next level. Now, if you're not currently partnering with us, I would just caution you, really dive in this 2024. What we typically see around this time of year is very much like the New Year's resolutions, right? People get really excited about doing new initiatives. Hey, I'm going to be consistent 4 to 5 times per week. I've designated this person as my social media champion. And then all of a sudden, a front desk manager leaves, right? They go to the next property next door. Credentials, we've lose our Facebook credentials or Instagram credentials. That is why we're seeing, again, more and more hotels come to us as a consistent and credible partner that's not going to take vacation, not going to take that job next door, making sure that this is consistent, because the one mistake that we can make is starting this in January, then the real word hits, that occupancy comes back, we get overwhelmed, and this falls off the to-do list, and we're sitting there with a happy new year post from January. So